Wallace finds top shelf back corner. Carlow is going to take the 4-1.
Welcome to another season preview here on the Carlow Sports Network. Sean Meyers joined by the associate head coach of the women's tennis team, Sam Lovaglio. Thank you for doing this tonight.
Thank you so much, Sean.
And Sam, this is certainly an interesting season because a year ago there was no season. So I'm sure you're glad to be back.
That is correct.
With the team unable to participate in any matches as a result of COVID, how did you try to work with the players to continue to hone their skills without actually being in matches, though?
Well, that was more difficult. We were all kind of learning what to do during a pandemic, but we just encouraged the girls to work out as much as possible at home, even though a lot of times gyms were closed and they didn't always have a place. So we just sent them workouts on our phones and just told them to do as much as cardio and weightlifting as they could. That way at least they were getting some time in, since a lot of times courts weren't open.
Things have become a little bit closer to normal in recent months. So what has been the focus recently heading into this season?
Well, obviously, I mean, our number one thing is that we want the girls to get a good education at Carlow and to have fun. But as far as playing is concerned, we just want them to go out there and play their best. We know that this has been a very hard year on everyone. As much as we want to win as many games as possible, I also just want them to play their best, especially with everything that everyone's been given. We just want them to enjoy themselves. So
you got back in official match play earlier this month against IU Kokomo.
We did.
What did the team learn from that setback?
Well, I will say that unfortunately I was not able to be at that match, but I did talk to both Gina, the head coach, and Emily, who were both there. They said what was nice is that it was really good to get back into the swing of things. But overall, definitely, we actually learned some new roles that have come up since COVID, so that was something new. Then also, just I think that other teams were maybe practicing a little bit more than us as far as the pandemic was concerned, so we're just going to try to step it up at our practices and work a little bit harder. So
to that point, I think IU Kokomo has about a dozen matches already in at this point. So
absolutely.
There's not, it's a little bit of a disparity between some of the teams and your team in terms of matches played to this point.
It is, but we're going to still try our hardest. So
I know a couple years ago the Celtics graduated a lot of seniors, but you have the majority of last year's team back. So who are some of those key returners?
Honestly, I would say probably our top three are Juliana Momajek, and then Ashleigh Bowser and Caitlin Hogue are going to be probably our top three. They both play full-time, first, second, and third doubles. So that's something that we're excited about, having them back. And they've also been working super hard during the pandemic to really make sure that they hone in on their skills. So
I know last year, even just to fill out the roster, you had to get a number of walk-ons to join the program. And I'm sure that there needed to be a lot of development. So what have you seen in that regard?
They've been amazing. We felt like as walk-ons, they really caught on very fast. And even during all of this, they've really just shined. They came to our first practice back at the beginning of February, and we couldn't believe how well they were doing, especially not being, kind of lifetime tennis players like we have most of our girls. But what's really nice is we've had some injuries in the past, so you do need sometimes a bigger team just in case something happens. And we play a lot of exhibition matches too, which give them great practice. So.
In addition to the returning players, there's also some newcomers who have supplemented that roster size. So who stands out amongst that group?
Really, I think Carissa and Josie are going to be amazing. They're new players on our team, and they came from awesome high school teams. I think their schools did a great job of really preparing them for college play. We've had to definitely change a couple of different things. College is a little bit different than high school, but they're doing amazing, and the first match went super well for them.
So you have your roster size expanded now to 11 players, much larger than last year. How does that benefit the program?
A couple of different ways. One, it's nice the girls get a bigger pool of people to play with during practice. The other thing is that the girls that don't play as our top 6 get to play lots of exhibition matches. And then obviously if there's any injuries or absences, then obviously we have some backups. So
What are the team goals that have been set for this year?
Okay, so that's a more difficult question, especially being that with COVID and everything that's been going on. So we kind of, as coaches, discussed, me, Emily, and Gina, that we're going to go out there, we're going to play our best no matter what happens. Also, we're going to focus on endurance. That's really important to us. Some of our matches, especially now that we're playing 2 matches in one day, can go 2-3 hours. So that's 6 hours of play in one day. So that was one of our things. And then also, with everything that's going on, we kind of focus on more mindfulness and trying to get the girls to just really focus on the here and now and not so much on the crazy world around them.
The preseason coaches poll has Carlow 8 out of 9 teams in terms of predicted finish in the River States Conference. So how do you kind of surpass those expectations?
I think we just go out every single match and give our 100%. I mean, it's nice that they do those polls, but I know that some years things have really fluctuated, so I hope to surpass the 8, maybe get to a 6 or 7. That would be nice.
When you look around the River States Conference, what teams do you expect to be the toughest opponents?
Asbury, which is always our last match, is always going to be our most difficult. But also IU Southeast and IU East are always another 2 really hard teams. But it's nice. It gives the girls a lot of experience and kind of makes them play at their absolute best. So.
There was an addition to the coaching staff since last year.
There was. Very
Emily
exciting.
Armstrong joins the group. You are the associate coach. She's an assistant coach. So what are your responsibilities?
So basically, we kind of try to split everything. Even though she's an assistant coach, we work really hard to make sure we're all working together. But we're swapping practices, doing, Emily's at every single practice, which is amazing. Gina and I do every other, because as Ashleigh said earlier, we have 6-month-old twins. So we're kind of balancing that along with being coaches. But the other great thing is that Emily is fantastic at really just like sticking to a list and doing it. So as soon as I give her a task, she's been fantastic. Anything we need, uniforms, scheduling practice time, anything like that, she's been really great.
Lastly, even though we already mentioned it was a smaller roster last year, 5 players were honored as River States Conference Scholar Athletes. What does that mean to this program?
It's amazing. We've always told the girls that with Carlow, we always feel like our education is first. That yes, they're here to play a sport, but we want them to make sure that they excel in life, and especially excel in school. So for them to have that kind of grade point average and to do that well while also playing a sport and a lot of times holding down a job means everything. And they really know a work-life balance and organization and time management. So.
Sam, thanks for doing this. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate it. You too.
That is Associate Head Coach Sam Lovaglio here on the season preview. And we continue here on the season preview 2021 Carlow Tennis. I'm now joined by a junior, Ashleigh Bowser. Thank you for doing this today.
No problem. Thanks for being here.
So I'm sure that it was difficult last year with the cancellation of the season. So how did it finally feel to get back out there for a match earlier this month?
It was definitely difficult considering the huge break we had between not having a season to now having a season, but I felt amazing going out there, for sure.
Conversely, how did you handle things once the 2020 campaign was canceled?
I didn't play much tennis. It was kind of hard to get indoor court time with everything shut down and a lot of people not wanting to play, so it was difficult helping my tennis skills.
Anytime you were able to practice, what did you try to focus on and improve?
Definitely my ground strokes. For sure my backhand is my weaker side, so worked on that a lot.
What were some of the biggest adjustments that you've had to make between playing singles and doubles throughout your career, Carlow?
That is a huge thing I had to deal with actually. When I play singles, it's definitely a mental game with myself, but when I'm in doubles, it's really hard to get in someone else's mind. I like the mental game of singles more than doubles, to only rely on myself.
Was that something that you did in high school as well, playing both?
Yes, I played number 2 singles my freshman year, number 1 from the rest. And I played Whitfield doubles with a partner, and we did good, but that's the only experience I had with that.
You are a junior, but you're a team captain. So what are some of the responsibilities that comes with that?
definitely helping the team get together. I feel like last year we had a little bit of a falling out with not a ton of recruits. Then we had those seniors, which was a huge help, which has definitely helped us a lot.
So which teammate, or maybe a couple of teammates, do you expect to have really big years this season?
We had some really amazing freshman recruits, including Carissa, number 2 singles right now, who I definitely think is going to have a breakthrough season. We have Josie and then Annie, who I expect the same thing as well.
What goals have you set for the team and personally for this campaign?
Personally, I was hoping to win as many singles matches as possible, and doubles, of course. And for the entire team, I want us to have a really fun season with what's going on and still playing our best.
What are some of the things you're doing to try to make sure that it's a fun year?
Like I said, these seniors have really brought a ton of spirit to this team, which has been really great, and I think that has helped us a lot also.
What are some of the best qualities of your coaching staff here at Carlow?
For sure, they're amazing multitaskers. I don't know how they do it. They have twin girls, which is crazy that they're able to go back and forth playing tennis and watching them. And one of our coaches is a teacher, which is, I'm sure, really hard to manage all of that.
Well, that's something you can look up to and aspire to do in terms of time management moving forward. Lastly, let's go back. You were at Armstrong High School. You just made the decision to come to Carlow. What were the biggest factors in that?
The biggest factor was definitely tennis. I really wanted to play, but the second was I really wanted to join their midwifery program at Carlow, which not a lot of places have. So that's mostly why I came here.
Well, thank you so much for doing this, and we hope that you have a great season this year for the Celtics.
Thank you so much.
That is Ashleigh Bowser, a junior for Carlow here on the season preview.